the quality of my life overall was very bad. Like I really did not even feel like on a daily basis. I wake up a lot of days, so hopefully, I wouldn't wake up.
Faron, you're in the hot seat, and stick around. Faron's got a very unusual story. He's got a house here in the Philippines, and his ex-wife has a house in Las Vegas.
That's correct.
And she's a Filipino. You met a Filipina 30 years younger than you in America, and you're going to tell that story.
Yeah.
You're going to want to hear this. It's kind of really interesting how this all came about. It's not your regular story. Chrissy, take it easy on him.
You stick around. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Fly Me to the Philippines.
And who do we have here, Chrissy?
We have another special guest for today that are now sitting in our hot seat.
Faron from Las Vegas.
Correct.
Is kind enough to join us here in our home overlooking the Cagayan de Oro River in Mindanao. And welcome.
Really beautiful place.
You're in the hot seat.
I am.
And Faron,
looking forward to it. Go ahead.
Where are you originally from?
I'm actually was born in Canada, and I lived in Canada till I was like 12, and then moved to Houston. I lived in Houston most of my life, and then like the last 14, 15 years.
You sound like you're from Houston.
I was in Las Vegas, and then I came here for like the last year and a half.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 67.
67? Well, you're holding up pretty well for 67.
I think I'm doing okay.
You're eating right, I think.
I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah. We met you last week and we had breakfast.
Yes.
Went down in immigration, and you've been a subscriber. You've been kind enough to be interviewed, but you were a manager at a really, really high-end restaurant in Houston, Texas.
Correct.
In the oil patch.
Correct.
Where people spend real money on steak.
Big time.
And how many years did you do that?
20 plus years, 25 years, probably. Okay. Yeah, something like that.
Faron, when you were in Houston, were you married?
No, I was a single man when I lived in Houston.
Wow. Working in the restaurant trade as a single man. How'd you manage that?
Guess you were so busy, it just never happened.
Yeah.
Dated a lot of great girls, but never just happened for me.
And do you have any children?
I don't.
No children?
No children. No.
You're like a unicorn.
Something like that.
Yeah. So 25 years in the same restaurant?
No, some of the restaurants, developed into other restaurants. I worked a restaurant that closed down, and they built a nicer restaurant, and I was general manager of the nicer restaurant.
Okay, so you're general manager. Like what do you work, 18 hours a day?
60, 65 hours a week.
So do you have one word of advice? I'm going to one of the best steakhouses in America. What's a little tip that nobody knows on how to get the most for your money?
When you're ordering a bone-in ribeye, which is the best cut, you want to order it closer to the chuck end, because that is got the most marbleization in it. Okay, so say closer to the chuck end.
You heard it here.
Yes.
Closer to the chuck end. Bone-in ribeye.
That's correct.
Even all those years ago, how much did you charge for that at that restaurant?
It was like a la carte. It'd be $65.
And that was, 15, 20 years ago?
Yes.
Today? What do you think it costs today? $100?
I'd say right in that range, right around $100, yes.
So you decided you needed a change in life. You left the restaurant business, and you picked up and you moved to Las Vegas.
Correct.
And you told me you wanted, it was just too much stress. You were working all the time.
I decided to move to Las Vegas, and I started working in the mattress industry, and I just started, working as a salesman, and then before I knew it, I was district manager for 21 stores.
So you wanted the stress-free life. You took a job selling mattresses. We figured you could lie down on the job.
Correct.
And you were just working in one mattress store, and you were just one salesman in a mattress store.
Correct.
How long were you doing that before you started getting asked to take on management?
About 2 years.
2 years.
About 2 years, yes.
Did you say to yourself, I've done this before, I don't want to do it again?
No, because this type of work was a lot easier than the restaurant business. The restaurant business is extremely hard. And this business was extremely easy comparatively. Very easy job.
So Faron, as Filipino, we heard a lot about Las Vegas. How did you manage to adjust when you moved from Houston to Las Vegas?
Well, Las Vegas is really a very exciting city. And it's 24 hours or something going on. You can get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you can go out and do things.
Oh, yeah.
But it was really, exciting, and it was, just a lot of fun as far as adjusting goes. I didn't have a problem at all. It was a whole new life for me. I was just doing something new, and it was fun and I guess exciting for me.
And you liked it, moving there?
I loved it. Yeah, I thought it was a great city to live in.
I really heard that Las Vegas is one of those cities that people seems like doesn't go to sleep because it's always a busy city.
Yes, always something going on. You can always go and do something. There's, 3,000 shows there happening at the same time. So if you want to go do something, that's always available for you to have, have fun in.
When you were working as a manager in a restaurant, and I heard there's a lot of Filipinos in USA that working in the restaurant. Had you ever experienced to have a Filipino employee?
Yes.
Yes. How are you going to describe them as a worker in USA?
The one worker that I had, he was a waiter that I had, and he was very fun loving. In fact, I met him not too long ago. We had a reunion for a restaurant, and I met him there, and he was doing great. So I was real happy to see it. Family man, doing great.
I like to hear that.
I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him.
You went to university in Texas?
That's correct.
Where'd you go?
Stephen F. Austin.
And how old were you when you said, that's enough with the restaurant business, I can't go home at 2 a.m. every night anymore?
Around, I thought about 48, something like that, yes.
And you're just going to shut it down, sell some mattresses.
My body, I was having problems with some physical issues, and I just couldn't do the work anymore. So I decided to change and just do something different.
Single man, picked up, and now why Vegas? How did you end up in Vegas? Was there a job waiting for you?
I actually had a lady that was a friend of mine, and she offered me a house there, and it was actually going to be for free. And I ended up paying $300 a month for 7 years to stay in a really big house in Las Vegas. So I was paying $300 a month, no car payment.
I
didn't have hardly any overhead at all. So I was able to go there, move there, live there, do what I want, and didn't have the overhead.
I'm starting to see a pattern.
Yes.
Because you've got a very unusual living arrangement now.
Yes.
So there's an intersection coming, Chrissy, where the Philippines, beside the waiter that he befriended, the Philippines is going to enter his life in a very interesting way. So you were in Vegas and you met a special Filipina.
That's correct.
Tell us about that meeting.
Well, I met her at a restaurant called P.F. Chang's and didn't think too much about it. Just, met this girl, and then I guess, I gave her my number, and
wait a minute, just any girl?
Well, no.
Was she your age? Was she
No,
Caucasian?
she was considerably younger than me, and it wasn't really something I was looking for. She was Filipina,
it was considerably young.
Rob told me that age gap relationship in USA is very rare. Did you ever thought about not getting into a relationship with her at the first time because she's very young?
Well, wait a minute. How young was she? What's the age gap we're talking about here?
We're talking about 30 years.
Wait a minute. 30 years in Las Vegas.
That's correct.
You met a Filipina.
Yes.
A pretty Filipina.
Yes.
I mean, they're all pretty, but a beautiful woman.
Yes.
And you're 49, 50, what are you?
I do want to tell you, she did lie to me.
Yeah.
When I first met her, she told me she was older.
But how old are you? You just got there, 48, or how long had you been in Vegas?
I had been in Vegas a couple of years.
Okay, so you're around 50.
That's correct.
You meet a 20-year-old waitress. Do you remember your first meal? She served you? Do you remember what you ordered?
No, she wasn't a waitress. I met her at a restaurant.
You met her at a restaurant?
Yes.
And how do you meet a girl?
I was at a bar. At the bar. P.F. Chang's, yes.
And she was there with her mother?
Yes. No.
Well, she's only 20. I'm thinking maybe she's a college mates?
No. She was just there with a friend.
Okay.
And I met her and didn't think much about it. And I, talked to her for a little while. I gave her my card, but I didn't really think much about it. Yes, about her a couple of drinks, yes.
So you had a good interaction.
Yes.
Exchanged numbers?
Yes.
What do you think happened next, Chrissy?
Well, tell me about the first meeting. How did you approach each other?
Well, I was sitting at a bar, and she actually came in with a friend and sat down next to me.
And her beauty just caught your eyes?
Well, we just started talking. I started talking to her friends, started talking to her. But at the same point, I didn't think much about it because I just didn't take, that situation seriously.
What happened next?
She just kept calling. And so then I would meet her for lunch or something. And then after a while, I guess we just started going out. But I really didn't take the situation serious at all at first because it was just not something that I had considered doing.
Okay.
Had you ever dated an Asian woman before?
A little bit for a short period of time, yes. Yeah.
And so now you're dating a 20-year-old. Are you getting a lot of stink eye? I mean, here in the Philippines, we don't get it. You know, I don't experience it. Chrissy and I are out in public. We don't experience it. Did you get a lot of stink eye in Vegas?
No, not really, because I mean, we went to places and just went to restaurants, and I'm very busy just doing what I do. I'm kind of a loner type of person anyway, so I didn't have a lot of friends and stuff there. So, I mean, not really. I didn't really know. I think the answer to that question is no.
So how long did you guys date?
About a year. About a year.
And did she say, marry me, or was it your idea?
It just was in a situation where I just thought, well, this is going to happen, so it's either going to happen earlier or it's going to happen later, so might as well happen earlier.
Right.
Yeah, so it's going to happen, so that's just how it came to be.
Well, did you know anything about the Philippines when you met her?
No. I'd say not really.
So, Faron, while you are in a relationship with your Filipina, when was the first time you met her family, and when did you come here in the Philippines for the first time?
After we were married, we came here, and I met her mother and, of course, her whole family. And there was a whole tribe, like 14 or 15, that I met at the airport when I first got there. And we ended up, taking them all to eat, of course, in the big steakhouse downtown in Cagayan de Oro here.
Oh, here in Cagayan de Oro.
Yeah, here in Cagayan de Oro, yes, yes.
Did she have any relatives or parents there in USA?
Her mother was there for a short time, but she came back. She has two sisters here that have babies that she helps take care of and all that, so she lives actually here.
Oh, yeah. So when you got married there in USA, was there any relatives that attended the wedding, or just the two of you?
It was just the two of us.
So how did your wife get her residency? How was she there? Was she born in the United States?
No, she came with her mother on a vacation that she came in, and she was there with her mother for a little while, and then
so she was just on vacation.
She's just on vacation.
Oh, come on.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
Wow! And
so,
how did you get it so she could stay?
She just got to stay. I'm not really sure exactly.
She didn't apply for citizenship, or she have a green card?
She has citizenship and green card. Yes.
Before you met her?
No,
you got that. So you got that for her. So, but otherwise, she was just on a vacation.
Yes.
So she needed to move fast, or she had to go home.
Yes.
Okay. So you were married. This is really crazy, because I don't think anybody's ever heard of this. I've never heard of a 50-year-old marrying a 20-year-old in America. Maybe Vegas, what is it? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Yes.
So people are a little more accepting, I think, there. But what was it like? I mean, a lot of us expats have come to the Philippines. We've met really young Filipinas. Chrissy and I are 37 years age gap. You had a 30-year age gap, but you were right there in America.
Yes.
Did you have family members you had to explain this to?
Actually, I got married and didn't even tell my family.
Really?
Yes, I had 4 sisters and my mother, and we did not tell her. I didn't tell anybody for a good while. I didn't tell them.
Well, tell us about when you did tell
them. My mother got sick, and we went to Houston, and I was just, brought her. They already knew her, and so we're talking to her on the phone and all this stuff. And then I just told her, we already went and got married. We already went and did it. So. Yeah. And then they were all happy, and, they threw a small party for us and that kind of a thing.
Did they, before they knew you were married, were they accepting of her, or were they upset with the age gap?
No, they were absolutely happy for me. Absolutely happy for me.
And they got a chance to meet her. So
yes. She's a great girl. Okay. Absolutely great girl.
So you were, jumping ahead, you divorced a year and a half ago, 2 years ago?
Yes, about 2 years ago.
So, and you were married for how long?
14 years.
Okay. Wow. Faron, you mentioned that you dated a lot before you married that Filipina, right?
Correct.
And most of them are, of course, Western women.
Yes.
And why did you decide to marry the Filipina after all?
She actually just had the nature and the personality that I was looking for. She's very kind, very gentle, thankful for everything that I did for her. And she was just a happy person. She actually knows how to be happy. And I think it's a real hard thing to find, somebody who just knows how to be happy. And she knew how to do that.
So that kind of person is very difficult to find in Western women?
I think it's hard to find, and really with women in general, in my opinion. It's hard to find
people in general.
But yes, yeah.
So you got married. So tell us about the marriage. How is it to be married with a Filipina in USA?
Well, we were married for 14 years, and it was absolutely a fantastic marriage we had. Mm-hmm. Very kind to each other. I'm a very calm and kind, gentle man. Never get excited, no yelling, no screaming.
Yeah.
She, really appreciated that. She always felt safe. She always felt good. She always felt like she was well taken care of.
Yeah.
And I mean, she had car, clothes, house, everything she could possibly want. She had that. And so our marriage was really overall very, very good. No yelling, no fighting, really no real.
It means you were both happy with your marriage. But there's a but after that.
There's a but, yeah.
There's a but.
There's a but.
Did she work?
Yes, she was she ended up working at Planet Hollywood as a dealer.
Okay, but the whole time she worked in the casinos?
At first, she started working at a store in a mall, in a clothing store. Yeah. And then she actually, at 2008, she had to get another job because it was only a part-time job. So she had 2 part-time jobs. Okay. And then we decided we were going to get her to be a dealer. And she ended up going to dealer school and then being a dealer. Okay,
so she ended up making a lot of money as a dealer for
one
of the big casinos. Let me ask you this question. A lot of guys, they've heard these stories that if they bring a young Filipina in the early 20s back to America or back to Canada, they're going to have to get her a pair of track shoes to run away from all the men that are chasing them up and down the hospital corridor. Like when you sent your Filipina to work in America, were you like, I'm 30 years older than this beautiful girl. She's going to go and guys are going to hit on her 25 times a day. What was it like being married to such a beautiful woman with such a big age gap in the West?
I think that men who are just have that kind of mentality, that are scared of that kind of thing, that they just live that way. And my brain just doesn't work that way. I knew she was happy. Yeah. We were happy. She was getting everything she wanted. Right. She was very happy with me. And we had a great relationship, So I would hear her tell me stories. Sometimes the men would hit on her or whatever. And she just said, she would say, listen, I love my husband. Yeah. That would be it.
So what about a lot of guys report everything was fine until she fell in with a group of young Filipinas and they started going to the disco, they started clubbing, and then she started drinking, and then the wheels fell off the bus. Was there peer pressure from other Filipina girlfriends that she met?
No, she had some Asian friends. They weren't necessarily Filipinas. Some were, but she had some other friends that were Asian that she would go hang out with. Most of them were girls that were either in a relationship or married, mostly married, and she would go clubbing and some places with them. Not that often, but every once in a while she would go out with them, and I was happy to see her go and happy for her to have fun. Yeah, that was not really my scene, not my thing to do. Yeah, but
so Faron, based on what you've told us, I think your marriage was great and you were both happy. But why both of you decided to break up?
Well, I've actually lived what I would call a different kind of life, and I had a major problem in my life, in that I really lived with really bad chronic back and neck issues. Mm-hmm. And I saw every kind of doctor, went to every kind of, took any kind of medicine or drug that was out there. And I actually lived a very poor quality life. Even though I had a good quality life with this young lady, the quality of my life overall was very bad. Like I really did not even feel like on a daily basis, I wake up a lot of days, so hopefully, that I wouldn't wake up. So I had very bad quality of life for many, many years.
Even before you got married to her?
Even before I got married to her. So the quality of my life overall was very bad. And I tried to make the best out of the situation. There were people like my family and a lot of my friends that didn't even know that I had a bad quality of life or that I lived that kind of thing.
Was that the reason why you decided to split up?
Well, I realized that when I was in pain and living that kind of life, I actually went to this one clinic and got this medication, and this medication took me completely out of pain. So I've been in pain for many, many years. Went to this place, and all of a sudden I had zero pain. Mm-hmm. So I actually became like a different person. I mean, I'm like 2 different people. I went from a person that's doesn't care if I wake up the next day for many, many years to a person that's extremely happy every day just to get up and just to know what it's like to be normal.
Like you feel relieved from that pain.
I had no idea what it was like to be just a normal person. Like I had no idea how happy and how satisfying that was just to live like normal.
Mm-hmm. And that's what drawn you to to have a separate life?
After a while, I started feeling really good. I started thinking about because before I wasn't trying to go anywhere or do anything or live any kind of life. I was just trying to make it through the day. Mm-hmm. I just decided that after I started feeling good, that I really want to explore the world and do a lot of things and maybe live a different type of life. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking about I built a house here. The second year we were married. And I just decided that I wanted to move here and do some exploring and explore other countries and see things and do a lot of things that I hadn't been able to do before. And that was when I retired.
2 years into your marriage,
right?
You came to visit the Philippines. You saw that your wife owned a piece of land,
yes,
family land. And you told me at breakfast last week that you invested $10,000 US and built sort of a real basic house.
Yes.
How many square feet would you say that is, or square meters?
1,200.
1,200 square feet.
1,200.
So
maybe 1,400.
Yeah, 140 square meters or something.
I don't know what that is.
And you put $10,000 into it.
$8,000 for the house and about $2,000, a little bit less than $2,000 in furnishings.
Furnishings. And like a tin roof or cement roof?
Tin roof.
Tin roof. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you went, and you were going to just use this as a vacation house or let the family members live in it?
We had let her family live in the house for a while, and we were going to use it as a vacation house also.
So now, when you told Chrissy that this experience, you kind of had a metamorphosis. You woke up and you were experienced life in a totally different way after 40 years.
Yes.
At this point, your wife is kind of earning $75,000 a year as a dealer. She's working nights, right?
Yes.
You have retired. Now you hit 65, right? You're on Medicare.
62.
That was at 62.
Right.
Okay, so you had retired at 62, and you want to go see the world, and you want to come and maybe live in this house in the Philippines.
Yes, but it took a couple of years to get there. When the lockdown happened, I actually spent a year in bed, 22 out of 24 hours a day. I was in bed. And
before that, you got this pain relief.
That's right.
You got sick during the lockdown.
That's correct.
Like severely ill?
Almost died. It got bad. I was so bad I didn't know where I was. I was going to go to the hospital, and I ended up not going. But I know if I would have went to the hospital, I probably would not came out.
They might have put a respirator in you.
Yes. So I was in bad shape. I was in really bad shape.
Right. It took you a long time to recover?
Well, the physical pain that I had and from the problems that I had, just took me a long time for me to recover from that, yes.
Okay, so that was part of this change when you were looking at your life, married to this 30-year younger Filipina.
Correct.
She's working evenings. We're having a storm blow in here, it seems. And then you were really sick during the lockdown for a whole year.
A whole year.
And you stayed in bed how long?
22 out of 24 hours for an entire year.
Wow.
I was really in bad shape.
And just slowly got better, or all of a sudden you got better?
I got better, but what I had to do is I had to make a decision because my body was shutting down to go to this clinic and I had to do something because I was taking 23 pain pills a day.
Oh.
And so I had to do something or my body was going to give out.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to this clinic and they gave me this medicine.
Now that you're in the moment of facing the new life, right?
Correct.
Because you are now out of pain and you want to explore the world, you want to visit the Philippines. Did you tell your wife about it, your plans?
We had discussed, she knew that I actually had a longing to come here or to live a different type of life. And what we had kind of decided at first was that we were just going to live separately. She was going to live there and I was going to live here. And I was just going to, do the things that I wanted to do and travel and go see the world and do those kind of things. And we were going to stay together and I was going to do the traveling. But then after a while, I just kind of decided that I thought that she would be better off. We decided together that actually she would be better off if we were separated so that she can go out, explore other avenues, other things for her life. Because I figured if I live another 10 years, then she's going to be hanging on for 10 more years. And then if something happens to me, then she's got to start 10 years later instead of doing it now.
So at first you're just apart physically.
Correct.
But then eventually you decided to just make it legal.
Yeah, it morphed into
to give her favor.
Separation, to give it to that. So she had an advantage right now with her youth and her beauty. And she's very happy. So she, I decided to let her have her freedom and go and do the things that I think she should do in this world.
Yeah, that's very rare that the relationship is very good, but then the two of the people will just decide to be separated,
So you began a negotiation with her about your future, and you came to grips with the fact that you were going to do what was in her best interest and not yours, and you came up with a plan. You didn't just say, okay, see ya, screw you.
No,
You're very amicable, and you came up with a plan. Tell us about the plan.
Well, the plan that we came up with was that she really wanted the house. Because she had in Vegas. She wanted the house in Vegas, and she wanted that just so that she always had a stable place. And because when she was younger, she never had a stable place. She actually got moved around from aunts to cousins and never really had a stable home. So I wanted to do something where she actually had a very stable home for the rest of her life. Our house was paid for. So I let her, she got, the better half of the deal. The better half she got, trust me.
Yeah.
So she got the house. She got, a lot of advantage in our breakup, a lot. Yeah.
And you got the house here in the Philippines, but you'd only spent $10,000 on that house.
That's correct.
But as part of the divorce, she paid for a little bit of the house.
Well, we spent another $20,000 fixing the house up.
Okay.
So we're in for like $30,000 on this house now.
When did you spend the money? You came to the Philippines like 2-3 years ago?
Right before I came, we spent the money in the house to upgrade
it. So you just
it.
wired the money to the Philippines, and her relatives live. There's other relatives living right there in the compound.
Her sister lives very close by.
Okay, and they managed all the construction.
That's correct.
And they took the tin roof off and they put a real roof on and.
The roof we had in the house was good, but it had to be replaced. It was that time anyway, but we put a really, lifetime roof on the house.
Cement house, air conditioners. I saw pictures, furniture.
Yes, I'll give you some good pictures so they can have people see.
Great. And so you put for $30,000. The land is your wife's.
Yes.
But for $30,000, you're living rent free about an hour from here, out by the airport, close to where the good beaches are.
That's correct, yes.
And $30,000 all in.
That's it.
Without the land. And what do you think the land would cost if you had to buy it?
I don't have any idea because I don't know what land like there goes for. So I'm not going to give you a number at all because I could tell you 1,000, I could tell you 20,000. I have no idea.
Probably less than 15 and more than 1,000.
Okay, something like that. Yes, I have no idea. Well, pretty close to the beach, but I don't know if that means anything or what stuff goes there.
Okay, so you wired the money. And you told your wife, you live in America, you keep the house, and you got your retirement, and you picked up a year and a half ago.
Yes.
And you came to Cagayan de Oro, and you set up shop in that house.
Correct.
But you didn't meet a lot of expats at that time.
I haven't met any, really.
Yeah. You're a subscriber to our channel. You reached out to me, and we met at the immigration office and had breakfast. But now, so you were here for a year. I know Chrissy wants to know about what you did during that year, whether you met any Filipinos.
Yeah, but before that, I want to know if you were aware that even though you agreed that you're going to stay in this house here in Cagayan de Oro City, but were you aware that most of ownership of the house is still hers, right?
Yes, but we have an agreement that got signed in our divorce that I actually have right to live in the house for the rest of my life.
For the rest of your life.
Yes, so I'm set correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of changes and shifts and switches in your life from Houston to Las Vegas, from single to married to Filipina, and now from USA to Philippines. Now we're going to talk about the Philippines.
Okay.
When you were here in the Philippines and the Filipinas, of course. Okay, so when you were here in the Philippines, and you meet a lot of Filipinas, of course, right? So can you see what is the difference of a Filipina that living in USA and a Filipina that is living here in the Philippines? Can you cite a little difference?
I really didn't know very many Filipinas in the United States. Not really. Maybe one, maybe two I could, think of, but really don't know very many Filipinas in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay.
And your wife had just recently come to it. She was really from the Philippines.
Yes.
Her English was good though, right?
It was pretty good. We, always watch TV with the words going across. So she got really good, and now she's working in a casino every day. So, yeah.
So, Chrissy, what do you think? He's a good-looking guy. He's like a lottery ticket walking around.
Yeah, you don't look like 67.
Would have made, a lot of people want to know how to meet a Filipina, and they're like, oh, do I go online? If I strike out, do I come for a month and bumble around? Or if you came for a year, right?
About a year and a half,
and I always say, if you're here for a year and a half, the other expats, their wives and girlfriends, they're all going to figure out you're here and set you up, but you didn't meet any other expats. What do you say to people in that? What's your take? You never went online, or you did?
I met one girl online. I met
Were you
one
based
girl.
here when you went online? Or you
Yes.
okay.
When I was here. Yeah, I met one girl online.
Did you set up dates or just only one date?
We actually went out for a little while,
Okay.
and she was fun, but she lives like 7-8 hours away from here, so she's kind of.
And you have a house here. So
I have a house here, so I'm here. Yes.
Okay, so before we finish with Filipinas, what do you think of Cagayan de Oro? I mean, have you been around the rest of the Philippines?
I've been to a good amount around the Philippines, not as near as much as you have. I've been to Davao, I've been to Inuug, I've been to Cebu, Manila.
Yeah.
I've
What
been
do you
been
think
around.
of Cagayan de Oro?
I think this place is fantastic, really, overall.
Okay.
It's fun. I think it's a place for me. I think
Mhm.
there's not a lot of expats here.
Right.
It's availability, I think, of the women, the exposure that I have here, I think is really, really
Okay.
good. So I think it's really good.
Okay, so the women weren't falling from the sky. It doesn't sound like Chrissy. What do you think?
Oh yeah, like just like us
Raining
women
men.
here in
They're
the
not raining
Philippines.
men, it's raining Filipinas. Is
Yeah.
that true?
I have no idea.
What do you? Well, you were here for a year and a half, and you were single.
Oh,
Everybody
you want
wants
to know?
to know.
You want to know? Oh, that
Yeah,
kind of.
that's what they
That's
want
the
to
question.
know.
Okay.
That's what Chrissy wants to know.
I mean, I'm a personable person, and I'm a very confident man in myself. So I had no problem like talking to girls or meeting them. I'd walk through the mall, and they all say, "Hi, how you doing?" or "Where are you from, sir?" I met people. I met friends of friends. I got set up with a girl from a friend.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went out with this good amount of girls.
So
Yes.
would you tell people go online before you get here? Would you tell them just? Is it hard to meet somebody if you're only here for a month? Do you think you could? You might have to go back before you kind of finished up.
No, I think you can
Mixing.
come here and meet somebody. I mean, if you're a decent person and you're not decent, if you're a decent looking man, I
Yeah.
think you could be okay not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd go online. I think it's too much of a mess for me.
You mentioned about your personal taste. What's really exactly your personal taste?
I mean, my personal taste in a woman is I like a small girl. I like thin girl, very feminine.
Yeah, she's taking.
Yeah, I know. I know.
I'm describing it to
Yeah.
the camera, so
Now,
just in case.
there's enough girls to go around.
Have to go around.
Yes, but so I just like small petite girls.
Yeah.
I don't like big girls. I don't like something like that. So
yeah. There's a
really,
girl
but
for
personality has a lot to do with it.
Well, we had to move. It started to rain out here on the patio. So we're going to just, we were discussing you like petite Filipinas, and it's not raining men here in Mindanao, it's raining Filipinas.
That's correct.
And so you came for like a year and a half?
I was here for a year and a half. I just went home for a couple of months.
Right.
And
How was that, being back home?
It was
You in shock?
it was interesting.
Sticker shock?
Sticker shock, absolutely. Like I couldn't. I went to this hamburger place, ordered just a hamburger and a Coke, and it was $25.
It sounds like the airport.
Yes, well, it wasn't the airport. No, it was at a hotel.
Yeah. You're back after going home. You were here for a year, dated, didn't really meet any expats. So if you had to do it over again, would you have tried to join some expat groups or go to some expat meetups?
I was actually very busy, and I met girls, and I was busy enough where I really didn't have to do that. I didn't really. It wasn't something on my mind. I actually thought when I was in America that when I came back here that I would probably try to get a little bit more involved than I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're back, and the house is finished. So you came back, and all the work was done. I guess you've seen some video,
Yes.
and you're buying some furniture. And
Yes.
it looks like a really nice house for the money. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's very nice. It actually is a very nice house.
Yeah. And you're out by the airport, so you're about an hour away by car.
About an hour away from downtown.
Right. So you're going to meet some of the guys tonight. We had a cancellation, and you're going to sit in.
Okay.
And that'll be the first expats other than me that you've met in town.
Yes. Yes.
And we don't have. It's not like Dumageddon where every time you get a cup of coffee, you meet an expat. So
Yeah,
it's
I
a
know.
little different.
Yes.
If there are any Filipinas watching, what should we tell them? You're available.
Yeah, you should tell them I'm available.
You're available?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
available.
They need
yes.
to be petite.
I'm
obviously.
very nice. I'm a very nice man. I'm very good. I'm educated and I have a lot of fun. And I can go do what I want. I can travel where I want to go, do what I want to do. Every day's open, and I wake up happy and excited every day.
Okay.
So,
Chrissy, do you have any advice for Faron for how to meet the perfect Filipina?
Just keep trying. That's always my advice, because the first try, second try might be very, very bad. And although your first experience with the Filipina was really good, but it ended up with a mutual decision, right?
Yes.
So I would still consider that as a successful relationship.
A very successful.
Yes.
You're legally divorced. You can get a Centimar.
That's correct.
Okay.
You see, that's what I'm saying.
That's important to the Filipinas.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. That even though the first time is very successful, there is like happenings in the future that you cannot really tell.
Yes.
And then it happens, but just keep trying. That's my advice.
So what type of retirement life do you envision? I mean, are you going to go play paddleball? Are you going to go to the beach twice a week? What are you going to do in your retirement other than have a special friend?
I'm really just looking to have have a permanent girlfriend. If I get married someday, that's fine. But just live like a normal, natural life.
Yeah.
I have fun every day. Get up, look at my finances and look at the news and computer, and I work out. I'm working out every day. I just lost like 9 kilos. Like
really?
just lost 18 pounds.
How have you done it? Do you have a system?
I'm walking every day for an hour,
But-
and I do stomach exercises every day.
Okay, Faron's exercise routine. So you do 15, you clench your stomach
Until you don't
muscles.
have any air left, and you hold it as long as you can, and then you go back and you'll feel your stomach muscles get tight real quick. Okay. So that's the first one.
People say you can't
What about
spot
your
lose.
diet? What are you eating?
I'm eating less. Americans eat like 3 times more than everybody else does. So I'm controlling that also.
Yeah.
But I just lost a lot of weight. So
Good.
yeah, I feel really good.
Good. Just you had a run of luck and you won $5 million US. What would your life look like 6 months from now?
I would probably live closer to where you are than where I am. I would probably just do something like that. I'd probably live in a place, because it's a little cooler here than where I am. So I'm happy where I am, and the money I have and stuff I live on is perfectly fine. But if I could move to a place where it's a little bit cooler, I would probably do that.
Hey, Chrissy, you want a last question for Faron?
Well, are you still up to age gap relationship?
Absolutely, yes.
What-
It's not necessarily what I'm looking for, but it happens. The trouble is that when you're meeting a girl in the Philippines, she's going to be in the 22 to 28, 29 age range, almost exclusively, maybe to the 30s. But after that, then you really, the amount of women I think that are available, the date and all that for that age is not that good.
Well, what do you say to people who think they should be looking for somebody 45 or 50 in the Philippines? In order for people to get the free PDF, the 5 essentials, they only have to do 3 things, not 5.
What are those 3 things?
Well, it's real simple. In your email to flymetothephilippines@gmail.com, say, hey, Rob, I'd like the free PDF. I'm a subscriber. I hit the like button on this video, very important. So include, I liked, I subscribed, or I am subscribed, and I hit the notification button.
I think they're going to have a hard time, because if you have a good girl that's 50 years old, she's going to have 1 or 2 kids. She's going to be married. Most of those girls that you're going to want to find like that are going to be taken. Like the vast majority. To walk around in a mall and find something like that, I mean, it's like, I don't see it. I mean, I flat out don't see it.
You have one word of advice for our audience? You are a subscriber. You know the mind of the people who watch our channel.
I recommend coming here and having as much fun as you can. If you want to move here, work on yourself, get better every day, make your life great, have fun.
There it is.
Yes.
From Cagayan de Oro.
Only here from Fly Me to the Philippines. Thanks, Faron.
Thank you very much. Thank you both of you. Thank you.